everyone. Is the state you're living in the one that will protect your LGBTQ rights the most? That's a question that a lot of my friends are asking right now. So I'm Bob McCraney. I'm with Texas Pride Realty Group, brokered by HomeSmart Stars, and we've started a website called fleeredstates.com. A lot of my friends have sat around and we've had conversations about what's going to happen as the laws that are getting proposed are getting enacted in the red states and taking away potentially gay marriage, reinforcing the sodomy laws, changing so that we are illegal people again. What's happening right now in Texas with transgender children? If you have a transgender child, Governor Abbott has signed an executive order that places that now in the category of child abuse. Is it too early or is it almost too late to be thinking about what jurisdiction will protect your rights? Which state has the rights for you if the federal 14th Amendment protections go away? And it's looking more and more like in a 6-3 court that they will be eroded even further. Justice Clarence Thomas has already written that he wants to get rid of the Oglefeld decision, the Lawrence v. Texas decision, and those are things that Senator Ted Cruz has said, sure, that's great, let's get rid of those. A lot of my friends are talking actively about where to go. And sometimes it's going to be a state in the United States. Sometimes it's a country outside the United States. I have been listening to this gentleman here, Andrew Henderson with Nomad Capitalist. Andrew, if I've never met you in person, but if I ever do, I want to shake your hand and say thank you. His take on things is helping 7- and 8-figure executives move out of the United States or wherever they are into a situation where their taxes would be less and their lifestyle would be better. I want to focus not so much on being that rich, which I would love to be, but I want to look at LGBTQ rights. I want to look at how is the changing dynamic of our country and the polarization of our population going to affect the rights that we have as Texans, as Americans, as people of the world. And as it starts to collapse and break down and polarize even further, where should we position ourselves so that our families and ourselves and our businesses are protected? We are coming to a point where it's potential that we could become illegal people again. I came out in 1992 and I met my first partner in 1996. And when we bought a house together, we kept getting introduced around town by our realtor as brothers. We could not buy insurance on the property that would cover 2 males. Our items in the house weren't insured equally because I had to be listed as a tenant and he was able to be listed as the owner of the house because you couldn't have 2 men on the same insurance contract. This was a time that when we were illegal people, it stopped us from applying for certain jobs because you couldn't be out. If you were out, then you were admitting to doing something illegal. And if you didn't admit it, then you were lying. So either way, you couldn't apply for certain jobs. You were denied housing because, landlords, there was no protections and there's no protection for LGBTQ people right now. So that could be horrible. The other thing is that hate crimes went underreported because to go to the police and admit that you were beat up or that you were, taken advantage of in some way, you were admitting to be an illegal person. You were committing an illegal act when you were beaten up. So the police didn't necessarily want to respond to that. Hate crimes go drastically underreported in these situations. The suicide rates of LGBTQ youth would go back up to much higher numbers because they don't see a future for themselves. So this change in the law is going to have dramatic impacts on not just our generation, but the generation to come after us. So where should we be? Where should we be putting ourselves for our own safety, for the safety of our family? And if we have any influence over the next generation, how can we be showing them where to be and to be safe? Okay, so that's what we want to cover here. I'm going to go through all 50 states. I'm going to show you what I found. By the way, if you're thinking about moving, give us a call. We'd love to help you. But also, if you have questions about legal concerns, I'm going to urge you to talk to an attorney. I'm going to urge you to talk to an attorney and find out what they have to say about these laws and how they affect your state, okay? I'm not an attorney. I'm not trying to practice law, but I do want to tell you what's on the books and what's available for you to see on the internet. So I'm also going to cover different countries around the world because I've got folks who have moved to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I've got people looking at Mexico City. I've got people looking at Portugal, Spain, London, Dublin, the people going to Canada. I've got people who are relocating to Massachusetts, Colorado. I got a friend who's looking at Illinois. So there's all these states. California is also on the list here, but there's all these other places that we could be. The idea that we have loyalty to land is such an antiquated idea. One of the things that Mr. Henderson talks about in his book is that if you go to a sushi restaurant or you go to any restaurant and you have bad service or you get sick from the food, you're not going to go back to that restaurant again, right? Of course not. You're going to tell all your friends, oh my gosh, don't go to that restaurant. It was horrible. But if you live in a state that takes away your rights, that state should have to compete for you just the same way that the restaurant did. Okay? There are other places to live. There are other states, there are other countries to live in. Let's look at them and see where you're going to have your rights protected the most. What ways can you enter those states? Where can you work? What can you do? What's the average temperatures in those states? What's the average rainfall? And do they have a red government or a purple government or a blue government? I want to look at not just the governor, but the two chambers of their house, and maybe their attorney general. And is their government purple because one person is red and the rest are blue, or is it one person blue and the rest are red? We need to be making informed choices and thinking about where we want to go now, because when the 14th Amendment does get knocked down, then it'll be too late. Then it might be too late for us to make decisions. So I want to talk about this now. I'm going to be putting out different blogs and different videos about all the different states, some of the countries that I've heard about, events that are happening right now, current events, and I hope that you'll comment below. I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope that this becomes a conversation that we can have on a larger level as what's going to happen is going to happen, and we have to think and be prepared.